matches lately, so let's go ahead and see. Let's go with an ice rod. What are you looking forward to?
I want to see Samaria this time around. Make it so you don't really have to search for one of those late game items.
That would definitely be helpful, especially if Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are required. And here we go, getting just a small piece of heart. Let's see what's the first weapon.
With the piece of heart early, could make for a nice thing later on, having more health to tank some hits. And we'll see what one of those 7 items are from the uncle here.
Very true. It's always nice to have a little bit of extra health to tank some stuff, depending on what you need to get accomplished. And it looks like I accidentally commentator cursed our runners here with another bomb seed.
Yeah, bombs isn't too bad early on. Some of the fights are decently scripted, but it looks like we're getting an early flute too, so she'll be able to go around the map decently quick.
Very true, and especially with them getting that escape, they'll be activating that as soon as they get the Kakariko, as long as they don't forget about it, because I have seen that happen.
Yeah, of course, getting it early, you do have to remember that you have it, of course. But it will be pretty much on the standard route through the overworld, so would be nice to have. And as I was saying, with some of the fights here being scripted with the bombs, the 2 blue guards here in the escape section will always have the same walking path. So if you know where to place said bombs, it makes it a nice way to do it.
It looks like Violet was... Ooh, Violet accidentally kills himself. Swerb goes ahead and gets a nice kill on the guard.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate side of the bomb escape, but luckily enough there are some safeties in place that will respawn you with a certain amount of bombs, or magic if you have a magic weapon, if a death does occur, or if you were to run out of bombs per se, or run out of magic.
Completely true, and we'll see this keeping going forward as Violet catches back up. Swerb still making his progress through it, and let's go ahead and get rolling again.
Yeah, and Swerb there running in, placing down the bomb right away. The green guard there actually has 4 different scripts, and if you know the really good patterns, it has 2 different spots that you would actually go in and put the bomb. One of them you just go in, put the bomb down, and it works. And the other is you put the bomb down as well as pick it up, and then you can actually wait to throw it.
That is handy to know. I did not know that, but VioletPumpkin definitely got that script for the second guard attack there.
Yeah, green guard can walk up, down, left, or right, so it's pretty decent. And right there's one of the blue guard scripts. Always walks that way. Put the bombs in those exact locations, and you should be good to go.
You can definitely tell they've been practicing their bomb strats on this. As we have a virtual high five there as they pass each other going up and down the stairs.
Yeah, Swerb already running towards the back end of escape. Violet just got to take care of this green guard as well as ball and chain guard.
That green guard giving a little bit of trouble, but shouldn't be too much longer before they take care of it completely.
Yeah, that green guard giving them the 1 poke earlier on ended up doing them in there for a little bit of time, having to play a game of tag for a little bit.
Yeah, it's never fun playing tag with these guys, especially when they have swords and you don't.
Yeah, very true. Swerb almost at the mantle at the back of the throne room. Gonna be heading there right away, and Violet not too far behind.
Yeah, Violet is making up good time after that accidental death they occurred early and making a good run back.
Yeah, and this is what a bomb escape can do to you if you're not well practiced on it as well. Not knowing the scripts or not knowing good bomb placements can make you sacrifice a little bit of time.
Well, that's the nice thing, that it's just escape, so there's plenty of time to catch up and recover afterwards. Well, outside of the flute, I haven't seen any good progression yet.
Yeah, and the other good thing about having bombs here for the escape section is you have a bomb for the end, so long as you get this rat without using too much.
Very true. That's always nice to have that access to the back and not have to come back later. And Swerve gets a nice kill there.
Plenty of bombs to spare as well, so we'll be able to bomb this back end, get a couple items out.
Here we go, some goo, and got a little bit of heart there also.
Yeah, and with finding that map, that means they do have to open up this last chest here in the sanctuary. It looks like Violet getting that red on the first try as well. Very nice.
Yeah, even though Violet went ahead and did a little bit more of a kamikaze attack there, but it still paid off.
Yeah, the rat not necessarily having a set script, but will start around the exact same spot every time.
Alright, so we picked up a bottle. That'll definitely help with checking sick kid early.
Yeah, it's always very nice to route that in earlier on too.
Yep, they will be able to full clear Kakariko without any issues until they pick up the Smith later in the game.
Alright, and Swerb heading off into the Lost Woods here. A heart container down the hole, and we'll see what the forest item is.
And just some more arrows. I'm hoping for some progression here, or else this is going to be a really strange beginning scene.
Right, and Swerb heading off into Kakariko. Both runners actually skipping the lumberjack check, so both of them are going to be out on that information.
Well, I can definitely see the pluses and minuses of that. They're not wasting time, but can check it later once they have boots. But at the same time, you don't know if it's an auto, I guess, required seed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure a lot of runners are hoping for non-Aga seeds anyways, but it depends what is on that ledge or not. Looks like we get a swag net, as well as powder down here in Blind's hut.
Well, we can definitely get some swaggage going on with that net, so we'll see what happens with it. And just some more hearts. Not too much.
Hearts are never a bad thing. Having, say, the crabs on the south shore there doing 2 hearts of damage in green mail, extra hearts could always come in handy.
Very, very true, especially if they go up there to Ice Rod down the South Shore loop, but we'll see what they do on their decisions here.
So for now, we get a book inside the well thus far. 4 more items here to check.
Let's see how quickly that book gets put into play, because we still haven't seen a map check yet, so we don't know what is needed crystal-wise.
Other than that book not really getting a whole lot out of the well, though. Just a lot of money.
Yeah, Kakariko is being very stingy today. Ooh, got a hammer time.
I was gonna say, for stingy, 100 rupees for a hammer is pretty good.
I definitely won't complain about that. I would do 100 rupees every time for a hammer.
And Swerb making sure to activate the duck here. And we'll be able to route in a lot of things very quickly now.
agree, because that will definitely help with that South Shore check jumping. And we got our first check. I saw a pendant on Eastern, so everything else was a crystal. We will need the Book of the Medora, it looks like.
Yeah, and a vanilla green pendant that is, and oh, a mirror from the sick kid.
That's definitely helpful, so we will definitely go ahead and keep working on that.
Swerb playing the flute at any chance that they can.
As we see Violet going ahead and following suit, unlocking the goose, so it is loose for a quick go around.
Yeah, exactly. Probably a library check here, as well as a race game, and then we'll see where they go afterwards. Both of them, of course, going to do Chicken Hut on the way out.
Foresee that will probably be when we see our first divergences after checking the race game, in my best guess. Ooh, and get a power glove, right? Almost similar to each other.
Very interesting. So now we're one item away from our Dark World access, that Moon Pearl. Yeah, and both runners can actually do the Mad Batter at this point in time with having both the hammer and the powder.
And that's what it looks like Swerve's doing right now, so we'll definitely knock that out. So we will definitely have a very good clearance of Kakariko.
Yeah, not much left here for later on to come back to. Will just be the Village of Outcasts later on, but
this is a very arrow-heavy seed so far.
now with having that flute in hand, it'll be interesting to see where they decide to go next, with a lot of items being located on the South Shore, but having full access to the Light World Death Mountain. You never know what choice they decide to make. It could be a gamble either or.
Very true, and that's, like I said, that will probably be when we first see it. The Virgins, I did not catch the library, did you?
Not yet, but I might catch it on the second way through. It was the Titan's Mitt.
Ooh, we'll definitely see them back at there, and up to Death Mountain Swerb goes.
A lot of potential items here, hopefully not getting locked out of Hera.
Though I'm kind of surprised we don't see a old man grab, but I completely understand that not having to be here.
And on top of Spectacle Rock, we have a teeny tiny shield, whereas inside we have a bee in a bottle.
And we've got our first B-Torp appearing on the screen. Let's see if we'll pick up that shield or not.
Violet now heading into the dark room here. Gonna save the old man.
This is strats I don't normally see is using the hammer, so that's interesting. And the Book of Medora taking play really quick here, and triple boom, nothing coming back there.
Yeah, with just some bombs, we'll see what Hera has for us now. And not getting locked out this time around.
Very true, and Violet made a very good old man check and just gets a triple bomb, so not too rewarding, but now they have that stay state if nothing else.
Yeah, not having to do it later on, as well as being able to just save and quit and come up here. Of course, flute doesn't take too long, but a little bit of a time save to just be able to save quit.
Exactly, and we are making our way here into hard hats, and having a little bit of difficulty, but still moving pretty well through it.
The only issue with the hammer, although it does tempered sword damage, has a very tight hitbox.
Yes, correct, and it also being just slightly off to the left there doesn't help and throws a lot of people off.
Alright, and we'll see what we can achieve here inside Hera. If nothing else, we will have this dungeon complete, and then the runners can move on.
We'll see our first crystal here very shortly, and then we'll see where everyone will take us there, because we haven't had a divergence yet, which is kind of surprising.
Just a 5-bomb upgrade there in the big chest of Hera.
Well, the true story will come as whether Moldborn has the item or not.
Alright, for their sake, pretty much gonna hope it's on Moldorm here, otherwise they'd have to come back later on with a fire source.
Here's the moment of truth, as Moldorm did not troll Swerb at all, which is nice for him. And the final item shows up, so we are good to go with full clear of that.
Yeah, exactly. Not having to return here, although it's not the end of the world to return, but no one enjoys doing that tile room.
Agreed, because that's always going to weigh on your mind until you get back up here and do it. So being able to know that you're good, just keep on trucking.
Alright, now getting information on the island up here, as well as going to be able to do Spiral Cave as well as Paradox Cave. Quite a few things. There's another shield on Death Mountain.
We got our shields for sale up here on Death Mountain, so come one, come all.
Yeah, just got to build a billboard. Everyone will know.
I'll get right on that. It'll be in the next installation.
And VioletPumpkin now going to do the attempt at Moldorm here. 3 hammer hits is all it takes. And a very nice fight.
Agreed. We'll see what's going on over here on the right side of Death Mountain to finish it up. Nice usage of the mirror glitch right there to get it easier.
Yeah, and 7 items to be held inside. Heart container and 20 rupees. Our first sword of the seed, another heart container, the single arrow.
The vampire skewer has been found. Ooh, and some boots.
Nice
so
boots
tight.
and
Nice.
hookshot. My
Oh,
goodness.
wow. So we're gonna probably see a quick route back to Kakariko to pick up them Titan bits.
Yeah, I would assume so. That's a very nice find, and having boots to get there even faster, so it's very, very well stacked cave there.
Which is nice after we didn't get too much progression before then.
Oh, so we're gonna make a little detour here, save the old man, collect some bombs.
Which is nice. I get why they did that, because now they got the illumination of the sword, but like we saw earlier, it's definitely possible without a sword.
And we just need that Moon Pearl for Dark World access still, so we'll see where that ends up being, with quite a few item locations left to check.
Agreed. It'll definitely be interesting to see that. And it's nice to have Eastern Palace being a vanilla green pendant, because Sahashala is right there to turn it in.
Yeah, We still have the whole South Shore here left to check, as well as the first few items of Eastern Desert is now open to the runners as well, other than the fire source for the back end, but it'll be interesting to see where that pearl decides to show up.
Agreed, that will definitely dictate how they continue this run, depending on where it shows up.
And Swerb right off to the Ice Rod Cave here.
We're going to get a little bit of divergence in the Bonk Rocks and the mail upgrade, so that'll be nice for them to come over, check Ice Rod.
Definitely. Having a little bit extra defense there is always nice. And very nice find on Swerve's side, finding the flippers inside of Ice Rod Cave, so that unlocks quite a few more items for the Zora area, as well as Lake Hylia.
Agreed, so let's go ahead and see where he's... yep, that's what I figured, goes to the dam.
Having hookshot, being able to hookshot through that block as you're pushing it, and then allows you to open that chest very nicely. Mirror, you can just make the block disappear as well, so 2 different ways to get through it.
Agreed, because then that way you don't have to push any blocks the second time around. And let's go ahead and I guess we're getting that Meyer check.
Yeah, depending on whether or not they know Super Bunny or not. Looks like Crystal 5 and 6 on Meyer and Swamp, a blue pendant on TR, and a red pendant in Skull Woods.
Alright, that was a nice long check for us, so that would definitely help keep track of everything. Alright, we're not going to get a check here to see what's going on there.
And here's our mini Moldorm Cave. 300 rupees, a red rupee, a red ring, a heart piece, and another sword.
That was a nice Moldworm Cave. As we see Violence going ahead and checking off the next crystal on their bucket list.
Yeah, unfortunately still lamp locked here, but doing the back end of Desert, sorry, isn't that bad to come back and do later on, especially when you have to do Meyer anyways.
Completely agreed, and we get a nice rod.
Maybe our old friend Trinex is going to be holding an item with finding that little thing.
Very possible, and it looked like just 3 bombs there on the Lumberjack Cave, so we probably won't see an Agassiz today.
It is still very possible that that pearl is located on the pyramid, but until we find it, there is no way to say otherwise. Swerb getting that blue mail for themselves.
And the Landless will not have an item on there.
And Violet might do Super Bunny here, I'm not sure. And oh my goodness, another sword on the Swerb side, having the Tempered Sword early on.
23-minute tempered sword war. This would be a very nice find for them.
And it looks like off to the Houlihan room on Swerb side as well. Gonna get the last little bit of rupees they need. Does not get it though. So what you see here on VioletPumpkin's side is an attempt at getting what's called Super Bunny by entering the Mire Shed whilst also using the mirror will allow you to go into something called a Super Bunny state, which will allow you to use your items in open chests. And finds the red mail as well as 20 rupees.
And we see Swerb going ahead and hitting up the secret room. So we got plenty of coinage there to check out the Zora waterfall area.
Yeah, having flippers to already head up there with 4 items being in the Zora area as well as the hobo under the bridge. Definitely a nice way to go check. And it looks like we have that pearl. So the Ega Dream is now dead. Checkerboard Cave holding pearl.
But it will be interesting to see how long it takes Swerb to get to this area since they decided to go a different route.
Yeah, very true. Although it is just a flute away. You never know when they decide to route it in, though, because there is still like an eastern check early on.
And the hobo gives us some blue goo, so not any progression, but definitely helpful for later on.
Yeah, very true. Blue potions can always come in handy, whether you're low on magic or health. Now, where will VioletPumpkin head off to next? Probably South Shore, or heading up to Dark World here? And Swerb continuing on with the Zora area, getting 100 rupees as well as a heart piece out of the Waterfall Cave.
Definitely interesting play here, but definitely good to go ahead and see what items are in Skull Woods there.
Yeah, with Skull Woods being a pendant as well as only having 2 items, it's almost nice to just come up here, get the items out, and then you won't have to think about returning until a possible pedestal seed presents itself. Swerb finding a heart piece on the ledge there for Zora, and will we get scammed today? Depending on if you call a heart piece a scam or not.
Well, 500 rubies for a heart piece is a wee bit expensive for some life lessons there.
Yeah, exactly. Quite a bit of cash. VioletPumpkin getting grabbed by the Wall Minister there. Back to the start with you.
Probably not a bad thing given the fact that the zombie was following me there, because I completely forgot the name of them off the bat. And we see Swerb over here in my area.
Yeah, very nice play to come over here. Oh, the Murderdactyl just tagging him there.
Kind of surprised neither one of them checked to see what crystal or pendant. Wow, medallion, as soon as I remember what word, to see what would open up Meyer since it's required.
Yeah, I don't know if Violet did or not, but I know Swerb didn't walk close enough, but gonna get that Moon Pearl right away here.
Well, that is a good play, and keep on trucking along there, but Violet did not make that play to see what it was, so it's definitely a mystery until later.
Half magic being up on the Bumper Cave ledge. And Violet now gonna do that Lumberjack Cave check.
Well, not needed. That is definitely a nice safety to have, depending on what you want to use it for.
Swerb also finding that red mail and finding the 20 bucks someone left in the pocket. It looks like Quake to open up Meyer.
Agreed. That is the Meyer coin needed, so let's go ahead and see what's in the back of the graveyard.
Definitely one of those one-off locations if you've already checked the Bonk Rocks as well as King's Tome. So good not to forget that. Has that in the back of the mind always, so...
And depending on how they do it, Violet could work in a catfish play, depending on what they do.
Swerb finding the ice rod there in desert, hoping to not have to use it, but you never know.
Only time to tell us whether that's needed, and Violet getting their first sword upgrade. Ooh, and Swerb getting nailed by that laser.
Demos, one of the most dreaded enemies of this game, I would say. Not being able to damage them, but they can damage you quite a lot.
It looks like Violet's gonna go back to Thieves Town now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be able to check the C-shaped house here. We'll be able to save the smith, as well as do like Peg Cave and all that jazz, so...
With all that Swerve's already done, I'll be interested to see where he goes next. If he goes and checks East Dark Death Mountain, or if he keeps on doing like what Violet is and go to Thieves Town or not.
Yeah, exactly. And there is our Quake medallion inside Thieves Town.
Though Violet does not need that know yet, they will need that fair to get in the mire, so that is definitely a plus to not have to search around later for.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do the Agena check here and then head off. The Rod of Burna also being in Thieves Town.
Another nice safety to have, but still no progression, so Thieves Town's not looking too good outside of the crystal.
Swerb starting up on the mountain, but pulling out that flute, so we'll see where they go off to next.
Looks like it's going to be following Violet and heading into Thieves Town, so definitely smart play. Get that crystal out of the way, or maybe we'll see a quick stall cleared by them also.
Looks like they're gonna head right down into the village of Outcasts. Getting just 20 rupees out of the chess game, and VioletPumpkin nearly done with Thieves Town here.
And here we are in the Mario / Sea House, so nothing but a big 20 there. So not a big deal there.
Swerb getting that Quake for themselves, that'll ease their mind a little bit, not having to search far and wide for the cookie.
Ooh, Violet getting attacked by that Red Zazak there, so that was not very good RNG.
Finding the small key, although it's not too bad of a check having that hammer the first way through. And just 20 rupees from it. If nothing else, Thieves Town has given us one progression item for later on, as well as we will get a crystal from here.
And I expect Violet to do a fairly scripted, clean blind kill. Let's see what wisdom we have with it. just some pine grapage, so not too much of wisdom with this lord.
Swerb getting a very nice god pixel there in the hellway. Pixel perfect, just being able to dash right through it. And if you blinked, you missed the blind fight. It's already over.
Very clean to wrap it up with a burrito.
And that makes another crystal into VioletPumpkin's name. Swerb not too far behind on the whole crystal front, though.
Yes, and it really isn't paying off yet for that baking sword, tempered sword for them, since blind takes the same hits no matter what you have.
Now we have this entire southern loop too. Can rescue the smith as well as return him, and then possibly take the purple chest on a journey.
These overworld are getting knocked out really quick here because of the help with the flute and mirror early access.
Very true. Violet gonna head off and do the digging game here. Can be anything between 1 and 30 digs, but it will be the same for both runners. And 13 digs this time around, gets a heart container. Very nice. Well, and by very nice, it's good because you can take some more hits. That's really about all a heart container will do for you at this point in time.
Agreed, and looks like we're going to see the Smith rescue right now as Swerb goes ahead and begins his blind fight.
Overall, well executed thus far. Already onto the phase 3.
Again, a very clean, very quick fight for Swerb, and another crystal for them.
Now, of course, getting that burrito for a snack halfway through.
Nice little lunch on the way back out, and we see the last shield upgrade in the peg cave.
Alright, so that's all 3 shields already. Violet opting not to pick that up. Already has the Fisher Price one. That one's good enough. We'll see what the breadsmiths have. The cape. It's a very odd item for a smith to have.
Agreed, especially when they're working on the forge there. How's it not already burned up? But then again, it is magical.
That's very true. So Violet now has access to that half magic, but being not a required item, it'll be unlikely to see it, but you never know if someone wants that extra magic or not.
Agreed, and we're going to see a K45 check here, and I'm sure Stompy will follow shortly after.
Yeah, exactly. Leaving only the digging spot in this section of the map to check. It looks like Swerb is going to do about the same route here.
Stompy just handing out some love. Ooh, having a little problem with the lunchbox there.
Swerb also declining the Fisher Price shield, so will not have a shield at all on Swerb's side for the rest of the game, unless somehow accidentally picks one up. But he'd have to go decently out of his way to get it.
Yeah, especially since both of those were up on Death Mountain. I don't foresee them picking it up later.
And And what does the lunchbox hold today? Just a 5 rupee. Must have been the lunch money.
We already had our burrito, so let's go grab a drink now with that 5 that we just got. Let's see what the Bombos tablet has for us. Our lamp. That is definitely useful and now completes or puts them back in logic for getting the old man up in the cave.
Yeah, exactly, and that puts in quite a few things into logic, actually. Meyer can be dove, other than not having a Samaria to finish it off, as well as Eastern is basically in logic, other than Bow to finish it off as well. So, a few things left on the board here for both runners to check.
Agreed, and this looks like they're finally going to do their South Shore loop. That looks like. We'll see if they complete it, though.
And Swerb off for the Hype Cave, it looks like.
Looks like both of our runners are, so we'll see a team up right there in Hype Cave.
They can either high-five on whether it's good or whether it's bad. Alright, silver arrows and a heart container. I'll call that about a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 maybe. Making the Ganon fight later on actually insanely fast, as well as a lot of these boss fights that they have to do, making them a lot quicker. And Swerb going to be picking up that 5 rupee and hopefully checking that Bombos tablet on the way. Violet picking up the Cheeto sword.
Along with that lag line there, and they were pretty much set for a Ganon fight minus having the actual bow itself.
Very true. Butter not required, but can be nice later on as well. But tempered, very good sword to have. Looks like Swerb is going to go for an early dive into Swamp. Having all items required to beat it, as well as it being a 5-6 crystal, could lead to things later on, and Violet picking up their flippers now.
Agreed. It is a large chunk of items that you could see there, plus, like you said, a 5-6 crystal to unlock the Pyramid Fairy later. Definitely not a bad thing, but interesting to see this early.
Yeah, a Go Mode Swamp is probably one of the best dungeons to see due to only having to open this first chest here and not needing to get the 6 items out of it. But when still looking for quite a few, it could be the play to make. But it really depends on your mindset going into it, if you're trying to gamble or not. And just 3 bombs out of the second chest here. It looks like Violet's actually going to make the same gamble, going straight for Swamp. I guess overall, looking at the dungeons they have done and what's required, it's not a bad play to dive this. Your other options are really Eastern or hope to not get bow locked out of pod. Yeah, that's really all you're left with, or a potential Meyer check for the 2 items.
Yeah, when you put it in that perspective, I agree. It's a lot better with the heavy amount of items you can pick up here compared to everywhere else. And, you know, knock a crystal out while you're at it.
Yeah, very true.
The question is, do we see a left side check already, or do you think we'll just head on back?
I feel, especially with getting that map there, a left side check is already required to get an item out. But it depends if they want to just come back in afterwards or not. It really depends what you deem the faster route yourself through it.
Agreed. It just depends on how you want to route it, because I've seen that come back and bite people because they opt out of it and then don't come back until later. So we'll see what Swerb does here.
Yeah, I feel it really depends on if the big key is located here in the back half or not to make it play out properly, because then you would check the big key location, or not the big key location, the big chest as you were to do the left-hand side there. But if the big key is on the left side, you'd be coming back to the big chest anyways to go towards the northern half.
I agree, and like I said, we'll see here shortly. Well, it looks like we've gotten a lot of items already. I haven't been keeping count.
That was the 4th one there.
Thank you for doing that, because I have memory issues, so I lose track of counting really easily.
No, that's all good. I just remember seeing a map and a big key, or not a big key, bombs from the start there, and that was 3 more items, so. Off into the Argus fight, having everything needed to defeat him very fast.
Be interesting to see here, because a lot of the strats I see use the fire rod or the bow. We'll see. Ooh, we'll see some ice rod strats. That's nice to see. Ooh,
Yeah,
nice
ice rod.
Quick kill.
I've learned for the fire rod. Very funny. Ice rod, I've learned deals damage to the bosses, and that's something I never knew before. Yesterday, actually. But I found that it does the same damage as fire rod, but just a slower cast rate.
Yeah, because I feel like it lags the room just a wee bit because of all the shiny pixels it does. But that was interesting to use fire rod to get or ice rod to get the fire rod there.
Yeah, exactly. And now with 2 fire sources, we'll see where we head off to next. The Dark Death Mountain is always a play here, especially with having Hookshot as well as having the Pearl now this time around.
And that is another large trove of treasures to check. But we didn't see Swerb go to the left side, and I think there's only 1 item left in there, so I don't know if it would be beneficial or not.
Yeah, at this point, with getting the fire rod out of there, I think you're going to make the gamble and say that item isn't important, and if it is, I guess I'm coming back later.
We'll see what Violet does here real quick, if they go check it or if they threw it off also.
Meanwhile, Swerb in Super Bunny Cave getting a whole ton of bomb upgrades. And Violet heading off into the Lake Hylia area here. Gonna check the island by mirroring to it. Very interesting check.
We'll probably see them do the flipper section that they didn't have earlier. And just a big 50 there, so, no.
That could be a potential ice. No, gonna mirror again. And is gonna do Zora area. I guess they'd have to go this way for ice. Never mind. I always mix that up just due to having to be in the light world to get here.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing to have to go to there. And it looks like we're going to see a Spike Cave check as Violet goes ahead and does Ice Palace beginnings.
Spike Cave being a decent time sink here, so we'll see if that pays off or not, whereas Violet is in ice. 3 items to be had.
Just a big 20 in Spike Cave, so not a very big payoff, but definitely an ease off the mind that you don't have to worry about it later.
And we'll see where Swerb goes off to next here. With having Fire Rod, could see a potential Skull Woods play to be able to get everything out of it.
Agreed, and it looks like Violet's going to forego the bomb jump so far because it's probably going to be a full clear of Ice Palace, but we'll see here shortly.
Yeah, the only problem is that if Cold Stare ends up holding a key, the bomb jump is going to be required unless you were to have Samaria. And looks like is going to set up that bomb jump here.
And performs it very spectacularly, getting through the hiccups. We're going to ignore that first little issue where they fell off the cliff.
And of course, for Swerb, not getting a key out of those first 2 chests has to do this route around into the mummy room.
Definitely, that was a good take out of Wallmaster there for Swerb. So definitely go ahead and see a back check here shortly.
Violet making actually quick work here in ice, already in the back half to get the last few bits out of here.
And the Angry Red Guard getting a little pokey there with Swerb, as it looks like he's making his check on the ledge and foregoing it also.
And speaking of Samaria inside of ice, there it is.
That was a nice find there, so we'll see what Swerb does, given the fact that he might not check ice for a while. We'll see.
Very true. Now being able to complete Mire fully there to get the other 5/6 crystal really opens up the map a little bit. And of course, Desert is available now as well with having fire sources, so can tackle both of them at the same time.
Agreed, a 2-for-1 punch basically. As we see Swerb going ahead and knocking out the rest of the graveyard there. And are they going over to Catfish?
It seems to be the case, I would think.
I see Violet going for another bomb jump and makes it without any issues this time.
And looking at Violet's items and dungeons left here, it looks like we are a bow away from go mode here.
I completely agree, as long as they don't have to go into Turtle Rock that we don't know. Or probably Carrot right now what the medallion is for that. And then another key out of the big chest.
And with a lot of locations left to find the bow, you never know where it could end up.
No, but if Violet keeps following the breadcrumbs and goes over to Mire, it'd be interesting to see if it's there or not. So it looks like Swerve's going to do the pot Eastern check right now.
Luckily, if Swerb ends up knowing the bottle glitch, even if there isn't a bow or isn't a key there, it is possible to nearly full clear that. But looks like they're going to head on elsewhere for potential Sahasrahla check.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing a Sahasrahla's closet real quick.
The 55-minute Sahasrahla. Finds an ether medallion.
That isn't a very big payoff, but we'll see what that ether medallion does for us or not.
And with that, Violet has finished the Cold Stare fight. So at the end of it, the Samaria find inside was actually required to beat the dungeon due to Cold Stare dropping that key. But had done the bomb jump, it did not matter at that point.
Let's see what's here on the pyramid. I guess we get to see that the Swerb checks for us.
And Violet fluting off into the world. Heading to that mire area.
Agreed, as we're getting stuck a little bit there, trying to get out of the dark world. Now we'll see Swerb take his swing at Ice Palace there, so let's go ahead and get that taken care of.
Yeah, it won't fall too far behind in items, whereas Violet doing the mire play here will get Desert done at the same time, both fully completable at this point. But only with 2 items here inside of mire, as well as we'll get 2 items from Pyramid Fairy afterwards.
And let's hope for Violet's sake they don't have to check Vanilla Big Key area, as that cutscene takes a minute.
Yeah, mire holding only 2 items, but having a lot of locations for those items to be... you'd want to see them more so earlier on. That way you can just be done with the place overall.
That one, especially, you know, picking up that key right there definitely gives them a nice little runabout. It looks like we'll go see these chests here real quick.
Overall, looks like a lot of keys so far.
Agreed, and we're still looking for some kind of progression there, or just the big key in general.
Swerb gonna attempt the bomb jump as well.
Yeah, I see Swerb has my luck when it comes to that moving ice floor there, running into the spikes.
Yeah, it's conveyors are never a fun time. Especially one that decides to change directions every 2 seconds.
And no Vanilla Big Key area, so that is nice for Violet, hopefully. We'll definitely see here by them checking the right side real quick, probably.
Yeah, very true. It's almost worth it to check the right side here and hope for the items, then go for that Vanilla Big Key location.
Well, with that happening, it looks like we're gonna have to go to that big key area, as we have not found anything yet.
mean, so long as it's progression, I feel it would be worth it. If it's not, that's a very large time sink, unfortunately.
I completely agree on that one, but you'd rather check it and get it out of the way instead of worrying about it later. So let's lock in the eye.
Swerb about to pick up that Cane of Samaria. And now we wait for the very long cutscene on Violet's end, with the gyrating screen to reveal a hole. Only for 50 rupees.
Well, it's an item, but not very good payoff. Curious as where Violet's headed on to now, when they could have just went there. They just realized it.
Yeah, all that's left here inside of Meyer is Vitreous. Making good use of powder, knowing the anti-fairies in this room can get a nice heal before going down to Vitreous.
And those will fill up on some magic, and then head downstairs and rock that.
Looks like Swerb going for that final item location here. Which I'm pretty sure I did not see Violet do when they were in.
I think you're right on that one, that they did not do it earlier.
But with just 50 rupees, they wouldn't be missing out on much. And with that, on to the Cold Stare fight for Swerb and Violet, about to start Vitreous.
Well, we're about one dungeon time space apart there, but still very much anyone's game right now.
Unfortunately not having the bow for this fight, but will use other strats. Very nice using the cape and using some spin attacks here to take care of those eyes very fast.
Agreed. That would have been the one place where half magic would have been nice, but still not needed, as you see Violet make quick work of it.
Violet also doing their best to stay on the left side or the right side of Vitreous there. The way Vitreous hops towards you can make it quite difficult to hit from below, just due to the way it hops towards you. You can jump right over your sword, and you blink and you miss that Cold Stare fight on Swerb side, getting it locked in the corner there very nicely.
Agreed, that was very nice action there that we saw on Swerb side with a quick kill, as we see Violet go ahead and head into desert.
Yeah, and that's the plus side of only having the back end to your left of desert. Even if there was still some things to get out of the front end, it wouldn't be too bad, but being able to just mirror right over and complete a second dungeon. It looks like the runners are doing the same plays here. Swerb following in behind, gonna head off into Meyer.
Murder Dackle there as he opens up Meyer.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quake does not affect flying types, so making sure to take care of the bird before using it. And Violet already into the Lanmola's fight. Has Fire Rod, 2 shots will take care of each one.
And quick work of Lanmola's there as Swerv's still checking around Meyer.
And with that, Violet has 6 of the crystals. Just needing to find Bow, and go mode will ensue for both runners here.
And it looks like a pyramid fairy check we're coming up here.
I can agree on that one. Having 2 items there, having both crystals, seems like a logical play to make at this point in time before diving any other dungeons.
Although Violet doesn't know this, but they could still do Dark Death Mountain even though there's not any progression there.
That is very true. As for locations for the bow, it can be located anywhere but GT, as well as cannot be locked behind any of the pendants, other than Trinex. It is possible for that.
That would be a horrible place to find it.
I'm pretty sure they got both items out of Skullwoods too, so it wouldn't be there. Just a total of 40 rupees inside of the big fairy here.
I think we're going to see Violet finally do the Catfish Zora area.
Looks to be that case.
Good cluster of items, unfortunately not what they need.
Doing the checks that Swerb has already done makes it so that it's really hard to actually judge who would be in the lead at this point in time, just due to more overworld locations checked on Swerb's side.
Green Violet getting a little click happy there and tossing the pot a little bit early.
Getting the waterfall check here on the Violet side with that 100 rupees and that piece of heart. And then off to the Zora. With that, Swerb is a room away from the Vitreous fight. Using the same strat here, using spin attacks, using the cape to avoid damage. Very nice as well. And Vitreous actually taking a little bit of damage there, being vulnerable whilst shooting lightning.
And the bad dead rock placement there, but we'll see Swerb catching up some more as Violet does some more checks that he's already completed.
Very true. With just Desert being between the two runners here, and that being a very quick back half, could be very interesting. And with neither runner actually checking Eastern at this point in time, it is always possible that we have a vanilla bow in play.
Well, that would be definitely interesting, especially with it already being a vanilla green pendant. I think that would be mildly hilarious.
Violet making the TR play-ish here. I don't think we know what the medallion is at this point in time, but we'll find out. And it happens to be Quake, so quite a few items to be held here.
Completely agreed, and having everything to complete it is definitely helpful and a good decision to make there.
And onto the Landmola's fight.
Where Swerve's going to head on to after this, since I don't foresee him going up to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's all a gamble at this point in time. But with running out of locations really to look on Death Mountain, or in the Dark World really in general, your choices are to dive dungeons for that bow. Violet pushing blocks in front of the chest by accident, have to reset the room there. And Swerb gonna flute off. Looks like Swerb is going to make that Eastern play, as well as check Pod, see if they're bow locked at all. Violet getting the items out of Super Bunny Cave here. And it looks like Violet's actually going to make that TR play here. 5 items being inside, as well as 1 in Mimic Cave. Quite a chunk of items. Kiki the monkey is paid off, and we'll get ourselves into that dungeon on Swerb side. Alright, and with the small key in that chest, it is possible that bow is located here inside of Pod. So quite a few locations that bow can be still. And Violet doing one of my favorite dashes in the game, the Burn-A dash through the roller room.
That always looks so spectacular when you see it done.
It's very interesting to see different plays on both runners. Of course, both plays overall being proper. You never know where you're going to find the item you need. So, depending on whether or not you would call it a gamble, I would say Swerb is making a definite convenient play here. If he were to find it here, he's already where he needs to be to just go.
Agreed. No matter what, you need to be in Pod, so clearing out it so you could just head to the back if need be, or, you know, finding that lucky bow in there would be awesome for him.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if Violet finds Bo, we'll know not to do Eastern afterwards, kind of thing, if Bo happens to not be in pod for Swerb. There is an item left in Swamp Palace as well, on that left-hand side, that both runners ended up not checking.
That could always come back to haunt him, especially if that's where the bow was, and we could have been a go mode a while ago.
Off into the dark maze that isn't so dark this time around due to having the lamp, finding the burrito at the back. And finding ourselves a fetch quest. So we're gonna make the play here, do the dive on Eastern whilst being in the area. With 3 items to be held in here, the bow can be in any location other than behind the Armless Knights. And Violet now checking the Mimic Cave.
And survey says just a little bit of love.
Exactly. So we're finding one of the items here in Eastern as well. 2 left to find. Two items, the second one being an empty bottle. And Violet's gonna head off to the dark room of TR and then onto the laser bridge.
One thing I've seen picked up thus far is the boomerang that Violet picked up and fell off the escalator thing there.
Swerb having to do the loop for that big key.
Vanilla big key, never a fun thing to check.
I mean, how ironic would it be for a vanilla green pendant dungeon that normally has the bow to do a vanilla big key? What if that bow is in the big chest?
That would just be way too much vanilla for me, and I would start questioning VTwerp if he tweaked this for something else.
Meanwhile, Violet on the laser bridge, not finding too much here yet. Getting the small key, one thing left in the chest. And it's the bow!
The bow mode has been unlocked, and we know that it was the correct play. Holy cow. Go mode at 118 for Violet.
Very nice. So now Violet won't have to do any check into Eastern here, as well as can head off to Helmasaur King whenever they find enough keys, as well as that big key to access it.
And now we will see Swerb do some catch up. I think, where's he headed to?
Shovel location.
Oh, that's right.
Potential fetch quests, yeah. Luckily enough, the shovel did not lead to the mushroom, so won't be on some long fetch quest here. And heading off to the mountain. Looks like they're gonna go and do TR as well.
Well, we know that's the right play. Let's see how quickly they get to the boat. Given the fact it was on the last chest in Laser Bridge, it might be about 5 minutes-ish.
Yeah, only worse location than that in TR for it to be would be on Trinex himself.
Yeah, that would be a total bummer, but luckily it wasn't. But we'll see it here shortly as Violet starts mirroring back to reset the dungeon and keep heading forward.
Heading off to that bow-locked side here. It's also very nice to have the boots for this, not having to blow up the walls there. And of course, having silver arrows as well, making these mimic rooms very quick.
Agreed, having the boots and the silvers definitely saves you about 3 to 5 seconds depending on execution.
And with the big key being on the bow-lock side, that makes this a very fast pod for Violet.
Agreed, since they decided to do that side first, they're going to be heading back to Helmasword King and wiping this out very quickly as we see the Canis Mario being played yet again.
The red mimic giving Violet a little bit of trouble, but after a few shots, nails it in the head and moves on. And off into the final dark section of pod here. Has the lamp, no problem at all. Turtle room is the only scary thing up ahead, but should be able to knock those out, no problem.
Like you said, having the lamp does not make it very scary, so it makes this room go very quickly, as long as you don't lose count of turtles.
Yeah, one could always go off and hide in the corner.
Swerb having very good run right there through the chain chomp room and not getting too beat up. As we see Violet start off on Helmasword King and doing the bounce strats with the sword pokes.
17 smashes with the hammer, and the faceplate will fall off. I believe it's 3 bombs if you would like to do it that way, but overall I feel hammer is a lot easier.
Well, it depends on what you want to do. It could be one sword or one silver arrow, 2 gold swords, or a swipe and 2 swords. Then a spin for Violet. There's what we opted for. And as we see Violet picking up the last crystal, it's that there time for our guessing game. So get your guesses in now, and let's see 1 through 22 what it will be.
Yeah, with 22 locations, quite a few that can take place. What is your guess? What's up?
My typical one is 13, so we'll go ahead and see that as it normally lands you if they do the Dark Magician strats in the Randomizer room, but we will see where it is and whatnot, as I have not gotten 13 to pop up yet. How about yourself there, Kirst?
I normally go with number 7, but I like to go for a specific number 7. Going for right side first, getting the 2 chests, of course, then checking the torch, and then in that first group of 4, that is the number 7 that I like to see. But of course, only guessing a number, so.
I agreed, that Stalfos room that always is a nice play, but we'll see how it pops up here shortly. So Violet making their way close to it, so keep getting your guesses in, as we'll stop once they enter into the dungeon.
Swerb getting closer and closer to that laser bridge to get the bow.
But already clearing out the front part of pod, they will definitely be able to make quick work of it. So I don't foresee them being too far behind once they get that, but they need to be careful having the heart and a half there.
Very true. Has to get a small key here, and then all that's left. Ooh, cutting close there. Now down to half heart. Has the red potion though. Very nice.
I forgot that he picked up that red heart or red potion there, so that was a nice thing because didn't want to see him use the blue goo already. But let's see, small key and another key. So we'll see a right side play here.
Yeah, first two chests only having keys makes it a little more nicer to check this right side here if you're opting for that to begin with.
Completely agree, unless you go ahead and run into the issue where it's a tile room key, which I've seen a few of them this tournament, so we'll see.
Swerb one chest away from picking up that bow.
And they're at 126, Swerb has hit go mode also. Let's go ahead and get this race a-going.
Six chests down for Violet, and still no sign of that key. Many locations left though.
Completely agree, and they're gonna go ahead and mirror back instead of doing a full right side clear. And let's see what's on the lamp, on Bob's lamp there.
Rest in peace, Bob. We now have a butter sword.
Completely agreed, even though, like you said, it does come at the expense of Bob, our mascot, being taken down.
It's actually very nice to find that along the way. It doesn't help too greatly for the Ganon fights coming up, but it is a nice find along the way.
Completely agree, it does shorten down the number of swings you have to do on each phase for Ganon, but definitely not a big help.
And with that, 11 locations are out of the way.
And your Stoffels room wasn't a guess, so let's go ahead and see here where Big Key is landed, because it's definitely not showing its head yet. There's 12, so we go to the randomizer area. First, let's go ahead and check the snake room. Oh, we got to do the key, or the crystal, gotcha.
Swerb about to get that big key of pod as well. Will it be lucky number 13 today?
Not with my luck, it won't be.
Are you sure about that?
No, it's the first time I've actually got caught by it, so wow.
Big key number 13.
Well, that's the first time I've actually been able to call it, so I'm kind of happy that I was commentating for it too.
Alright, the closest supporter with that guess 12, and that is Silk Soldier.
Nice, Silk Soldier, that was a good guess. And let's go ahead and knock out these gauntlet rooms with the mimics. Nice little
Very nice
drops that helped out there. Meanwhile, Swerb just finishing up the turtle room to go ahead and head over to Helmsol King and finish off his last crystal. And Violet decided to take the hit kill. I completely lost what I was saying.
Using some iframes there to do a nice dash over the bridge.
That's what I was trying to say. Got through Game Bold Z without too much issue because they took, like you said, iframes.
And Swerb now finishing off Helmsar King will be heading up to Ganon's tower as well.
We'll definitely see how Swerb does here because he could pick up some time if he does normal Dark Magician strats, so checking the first two on the right and then heading left, but we'll see what he does.
Using Silver Arrow strats here on the Land Molas 2, misses the last one unfortunately, but having Butter Sword makes it a very fast kill regardless.
Agreed. That was a nice snipe that they got on the second one there. I thought they were going to miss it for a second. And Swerve's getting dead rocked and cabbaged all over on that mountain there. Not having a very fun time. And they're clear of it now.
Yeah, not too fun of a pathway to take, but Violet getting some nice quick kills on the Wizrobe rooms and heading off into the Torch Room.
Well, that's taking the Canis Mari and putting it to use like it was meant to. So let's see some quick limits here and continue on our path.
And with torches being an interesting thing in this game, I've learned a few little things about it. If you were to go up the stairs at the same point in time that the torches go out, nothing would spawn up here, including Moldorm, so you'd end up soft-locking yourself. And then with these 4 torches, if you were to blow up the wall in the next room the same time that those go out, the textures of the wall wouldn't change, but the hole would still be there.
That, I did not know the second one. I knew about all the despawning, but you learn something with this game every day, it seems.
Yeah, the torches are a very interesting mechanic inside the game.
One slice down, and Violet goes ahead and knocks out Moldorm 2 without any problems. As we see Swerve just about to enter Ganon's tower.
And we'll get to see if there's some decent patterns for Aga this time around.
That would be interesting, as we saw Violet say, I don't need anything else, I'm not checking that last chest. So up again we go, as Swerve makes his first dive to the right.
Yeah, when you know that your opponent is very good, you don't want to waste any time. Getting a single on the first round.
That was not very good angles for anyone there. And getting hit by that one, so just another single.
These are very difficult patterns here to work with.
Definitely need to press out the protractor for some geometry angles there. Good.
And with that, 6 hits are in, and off to Ganon for Violet. And it looks like Swerb is going to go for that right side gamble here with getting those keys early on.
So Swerve will find it on the 13th chest as well. And I can only remember that because it was my guess. But here we go with Violet and the big pig fight.
Doing a nice dash there on Swerve's side, right on the edge of that conveyor. And Violet only needing, I think it is 12 slashes here with the Butter Sword to advance to the 3rd phase there.
Making quick work of phase 1 as we see Ganon phase over and start phase 3 also. So here we go towards phase 4.
Yeah, only 4 slashes here are required to progress, and then we'll be on to the Silver Arrow phase. Swerb actually skipped the Butter Sword there, so Bob gets to live, even though we won't be seeing Bob this time around anyways.
Well, at least we got a 1-for-1 there, and Violet does not worry about the torch glitch as they got silvers and butter. It's going to be a quick match.
Ooh, narrowly missing there, but easy peasy, no problem. Oh no!
Ooh.
I spoke too soon. Takes a fall to Ganon here.
Yeah, if they'd have stayed over to the right, they'd have been fine, but when they opted to go behind, it bonked them backwards, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Swerb is in the room where the boss key is now. Has to do the whole gauntlet as well as the Lenmolas and Moldorm fights still.
Well, right now it is Violet's race to lose, so as long as they don't fall again, they'll be theirs. As we get to hear a little bit more singing by Ganon there, and off to phase 2. There we go.
Few more hits and we'll be into phase 3 again. And Swerb in the Mimic Rooms of Ganon's Tower.
Violet needs to be very careful because one hug from Ganon will end that fight really quickly again.
Very true. And with that, we're on to phase 4. Very close to falling off the edge again. And almost gets the triple, but gets a nice double as well as a single hit on the next round. Oh, and Ganon, Ganon actually getting in the way there from lighting the torch and then knocking him off again with a fire bat.
Oof, that's not good juju on that one. Ganon and his fire bats, never fun to play with.
Yeah, the fire bats, the way they actually knock you around is the opposite way that you're holding on your controller.
Looks like we're going to see some potions picks up here, so go ahead and get that going.
Yeah, potions are definitely a nice safety to obtain. But as time moves on, Swerb is getting closer and closer.
Agreed. I think that's as many as Violet can take of falls without having Swerb catch up and completely take over this race. So let's go ahead and try Ganon number 3.
Swerb now in the torch section of Ganon's Tower. And Violet heading on into the third attempt of the Ganon fight. "12 hits and we'll be on to phase 3 again." And Swerb going up, gonna have to bomb that wall and head off into the Moldorm fight. Very nice bonk to dodge the big spike there, as well as the little one. Picking up some magic, heading off into Moldorm. And then we'll be off to Aga to see if they have any more luck with the patterns.
Fire bat messing with the arrow shot there, so messing it up a little bit more.
Getting a shot in there, though. And as well as a double. And with that, that is the 4th hit on Ganon. Bacon is served, the pig is dead.
GG, Violet, as long as they cross this bridge without any issues, the game is theirs. So let's go ahead and get her did as Swerb goes ahead and works on his geometry angles.
And Violet entering the room locks in an official SRTV time of 1 hour and 40 minutes on the dot. And Swerb is now done with Ega.
Alright, so off to Big Pig we go for Swerb. Hopefully not having any issues. Makes quick work of it. So let's go ahead and see if we can get Violet in here real quick.
Swerb onto the Ganon fight here. A few nice attacks and we'll be on to the 3rd phase very shortly.
I think if it wasn't for that Butter Sword pickup, Violet would have had a lot more to play with, and it would have probably been a lot closer fight.
Swerb using a nice cape there, being able to dodge all the fire bats without having to try.
Agreed that they need to pay attention to their hearts, so hopefully you'll probably see a good strat here or blue potion coming up.
Swerb not having enough magic there. Having to drink that blue potion does get a nice hit there on Ganon as well. And with that, Ganon falls on Swerb's side as well. And with that, Swerb finishes with an SRTV time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 50 seconds. And we'll see if we can get either runner here in for a quick interview. Overall, it was a very nice seed to watch both runners go through, with it all coming down to that bow location, I feel.
very shortly we'll have Swerb up in here as we're still trying to get a hold of Violet.
Violet's actually going to be in chat answering questions there for people without having a good mic for the interview. That's what they've opted to do. But we are joined by Swerb. Hello and welcome, GG.
Hey, thanks. How's it going?
Very good race. Again, like you said, GG. What are your opinions on this, Swerb?
I don't know. This is a good seed. It was fun. I was a little disappointed. When is the answer not Pendant Turtle Rock? You know, like I had a feeling I should have gone there, and then especially like when I went to pod, I was actually hoping that like I would check the first thing and it would be bow locked, and then I was like, oh man. Yeah, and I was just like, I feel like I made a mistake, but I just had committed at that point, so it was unfortunate. But other than that, I felt like I played and routed really well.
Yeah, I feel like
It's
for
a fun
both
seed.
of you, for the choice of where to look for the bow, it ended up being, like for you, I'd say that your choice of it is the most convenient way to go about it, because like you're at a place that requires it, so if it's there, you can just kind of go. Whereas Violet ended up being up on Death Mountain doing Hookshot Cave at the time, so ended up just doing the TR dive at that point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I hadn't already been to Hookshot Cave, and like I had other stuff up there, I would have definitely gone that way. But yeah, I was just kind of banking that it would just end up being in Eastern or Palace of Darkness, since you said it was more convenient. But as soon as I was going there, I was almost like half of me was hoping that like it would just be bow locked and I would just go to Turtle Rock, because I was like, this might be a bad call, but we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah, to have pod be bow locked would probably be a best case scenario there, because then you would know guaranteed it can't be inside and you can move on. Bomb start. How do you enjoy that as an uncle item?
It's one of my favorite starts. I think it's the most interesting in terms of escape, making escape interesting. Generally, like I prefer like bombs just because it makes escape interesting, and you don't have to worry about hunting for bombs during escape, which is nice. Or one of the other items that like bow or cane or something that helps you later on in the seed, or hammer. As long as it's not the blue cane. That's like the only thing I don't like to see for starting item, because it's just lame.
Very taxing on the magic, as well as doesn't give you anything really necessary for late game. Overall, do you have any big thoughts on this seed as a whole?
Not really. I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward. Like outside of like I guess the bow being in Turtle Rock, but like I said, when you have the ability to do Pendant Turtle Rock, when is that not the answer? So like I should have gone there. Even that seemed kind of straightforward. I was just kind of hoping against it. Like I said, I felt like I played really well, and so like even with all of that, like going into Ganon's Tower, I didn't really know if I was ahead or behind, and so I kind of just did like a standard Ganon's Tower route, which probably paid off. I didn't do anything crazy, otherwise I would have missed that big key.
Yeah, Violet was commenting about how it seemed like it was following a breadcrumb seed, and just as long as you paid attention to them, that's where you were able to follow around and pick everything up there, it seemed.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. Like a lot of it made sense, especially like, getting the fire rod. Like I wasn't surprised that the next item was an Ice Palace. The only reason I didn't go like straight there was I was just like, oh, this is like, it was just like really convenient routing to like do the loop I did to like fit those item pickups in at some point.
Yeah, overall, definitely nice times for both you and Violet with having to search for that bow. Could have been a very, very early on go mode too, if that was a little more on track.
I do have to ask you, Swerve, were you worried about that one chest that you skipped there and Meyer, or did you not even worry about it?
You mean swamp?
Yes, I meant swamp, sorry.
No. I wasn't like I rarely skip left side swamp. And like I was planning on going back until I got the fire rod. Because like I said, I figured like, oh, okay, this opens up Ice Palace. That's probably gonna be like the next step. And then I just went the roundabout way to Ice Palace because, like I said, it was convenient routing to get like the north Dark World stuff in and like Pyramid Check and all that stuff in. Had that not been Fire Rod or like some sort of progression, I would have gone back and checked, but I felt like I had enough options at that point. And then if it did end up being like, if Bo ended up being there or something, I was just like, well, whatever. Like, you just get unlucky sometimes, you know?
Very true. And with your tournament dream still alive here for getting into brackets, do you have any hopes for the next few rounds?
I don't know. It's gonna be tough. Obviously, I wanted to win this one because now I have to win my last 2 in a row, which is obviously a lot less leeway than having to win 1 of 2. And that's just it's tough because like once you get to like the 3 wins, like the 3 and 1s and the 3 and 2s, like everything's starting to look scary now. So there's a lot of good people that are going to be in like all of those kind of brackets. So I guess I just got to wait and see who my opponent's going to be. And
Yeah, very true. Quite a lot of people in that 3 and 2 range now, also fighting for their lives, but I wish you good luck with that.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And with that being said, I want everyone in chat to hit both these runners up with a follow. They did a fantastic job tonight, putting on an excellent show for quite a lot of people here. As well as if you like Rando and want to see more Rando, there's a ton of it going on Speed Gaming 1 through 6, as well as ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. So quite a lot of things to be seen. As for Randomizer right now, there's a match going on between Valkyrie Tiara and Dr. Calexo on Speed Gaming 4, and then in about an hour, there'll be one between Strumpet Playa versus Zepod Beeblebrox 4 on Speed Gaming 3. So if you like Rando, you can definitely head on over to those places. I've been Chris Dather. I've been joined here by What's Up, and I want to just thank everyone for joining in, as well as we have Merc tracking for us tonight. So thank you everyone else behind the scenes here doing an excellent job.
Wish everyone best of luck and enjoy the rest of your night in the speed gaming runs.